Coach, Ohio State's a pretty aggressive defense. I think most people, when they think about aggressive defenses, they might think about a screen pass on offense.
Yeah, for many years we both sat in that room, an offensive room, and when you're facing a team like Ohio State's defensive line with Sawyer and the Cats, what's the line coach say? Give me some screens, man. Slow them down a little bit. So this is actually a crack tailback screen. You're going to see the number 2 receiver crack the first linebacker inside, and there's always 3 linemen involved in the screen. First out, first up, first inside. So keep that in mind as we roll here. So you can see the crack screen by the tight end does an excellent job. That's a long block. That's a 4 to 6 second block. So you don't go in there and try to take his head off. You got to position block him for quite a while. Okay, the tailback has got to stay behind the first out.
Right.
So Singleton does an excellent job here. The first out is the guard.
Right.
The tailback has to stay where? Behind the first out, or you outflank him. The second out is the center, and we call him first up. So first out, first up, first inside. First out is the guard.
Right.
That means he's going to look for the flat player. There is no flat player. He's going to block him first out. His job is to kick him out. Well done. That's a big man in open space. That's a hard block for a big guy. I would grade that an A+. Okay, the second one is the first up.
Right.
The first up is the center. Center's now looking up for the track. That's the railroad track of the screen. The linebacker from Minnesota actually gets tied up in the crack block. So normally that's who you would block.
Right.
But see, he gets tied up. The guy does a great job. He stays continuing down the field, not going backwards. And the first inside, because there's a crack, is going to be the backside guard. Watch the backside guard here. He's going to release the guy and look inside to make sure there's no rat, we call that rat kill, or anybody chasing the screen from backside. So how do you slow down Ohio State pass rush? What's every line coach want?
Screen pass.
Screen pass.
You know what this plan is written all over, don't you?
I got to draw it up, something like that.
Let's draw
it up.
Coach, we just watched Penn State run a screen pass against Minnesota. There's no chance that they won't run some screens against the Ohio State defense.
Well, I always like to dive into the why. Why do you run a tailback screen? Number one is the pass rush of the opponent. If the team is a bad, just not a great pass rushing team, you would never run a screen. Against Ohio State, when they have third down meeting, I've done it for 100 years, the line coach will say, give me 3 screens this week. So the pass rush. It's very important to be a good salesman too, because Larry Johnson, the D-line coach of Ohio State, I can promise you they're working on it. If the lineman released too soon, the quarterback doesn't sell screen, they run down the screen. So the sell by the O-line and quarterback is key. And remember, the reason you run a screen is to slow down a great pass rush. The O-line, and I'm going to go through that in a minute, but this is really simple rules for a viewer to watch. First out, first up, and first in. Really simple for an offense line, and that could change. The first out means if the guard gets tied up, the center's first out, he's first out. Right. So the first out has a rule, first up, first in. And the timing and spacing, remember we said there's sometimes inexpensive plays expensive. This is a very expensive play. You got to work on this.
Right.
Because a tailback could screw the whole play up if he's not timed perfect. And what's that mean? He needs to be inside.
First out.
First out. All right, let's take a look at Penn State's screen. So the offensive tackle is blocked the defensive end the whole way. The guard sat to the B gap. Right. He became the first out.
First out.
That means he's going to block a corner or a safety, whoever shows up first. Okay? The center worked on the twist, and then he became the first up, which we'll finish that in a minute. The backside guard did a great job selling on the twist. They rushed the quarterback hard, and he became the first in. Okay? And we'll finish that here in a second. Offensive tackle stayed on the defensive end. The tailback, spacing is very important. As the guard went first out, his job is what? Stay inside the first out. He came here, he started to leak and caught the screen right about there. Penn State, and this is extremely well executed by the 3 inside guys. Safety came down, it became first out, he blocked the first out. Okay, the first up, this is really interesting. The first up, he was looking, because remember the Sam's blocked.
Right.
Tight end did a great job. He actually got tied up and got tripped up by the crack block. He came downfield and was looking for the next player. And the backside, I know this gets a lot of lines in here. He became the first in. He wanted to make sure the screen got off and nothing caught from backside.
Chaser. He was the chaser. Right.
Tailback caught the ball. He needs to be inside the first out. That's exactly what he did. He hit it for a big gain. Really well executed by Penn State.